Let's bring in Professor of Economics and Public Policy at the University of Michigan, Justin Wolfers. Justin, good to see you on this Saturday evening. How do these tariffs play a role in the prices we see at the grocery store?
It's really simple. A tariff is a price that you have to pay to release the goods once they come into customs, once they come across the border. So their price is being paid often by your grocery store. And what they're doing is when they have to pay more for these goods, they're jacking up the price. So somewhere between your grocery store and you, one of you is paying for this. And so the elimination of these tariffs, of course, should set this in reverse, which means these pressures that have been raising the cost of living, well, hopefully they'll abate a little bit.
Yeah. And look, we noted this concern from Americans about the cost of living and just how expensive everything is really drove the 2024 election, sending President Trump in part back to the White House. Then he put these tariffs in. They're a key part, obviously, of his economic agenda. But knowing all of that and knowing where the economy sits today when it comes to cost of living, were you surprised to see the president take this step?
Let me just say I'm delighted. Every economist in America has been saying, every household in America has been saying, if you put tariffs on stuff, you'll raise the cost. The president has denied it each and every day since he's been elected. And now he says he wants to get prices down. And so now he admits that somehow tariffs have something to do with prices. I'm just looking forward to the apology. If he wants to skip the apology, that's fine. I'm just happy to keep talking to him about economics and let him understand exactly what it is that tariffs do and why they're so unpopular.
And so if you're somebody out there watching right now who maybe is, a lot of people like to go to the grocery store on Sunday and get stuff for the week. This was announced Friday. So how quickly will this kick in? What should people expect when they go to the grocery store?
Good luck. It's not going to happen that quickly.
Right.
So, look, what's happening here is these are a particularly politically salient set of tariffs. And so he's hoping that the prices you watch most closely are the ones you see at the grocery store. It's not that they're going to come back down as of last Thursday, which is when he retroactively reduced the tariffs. But probably you'll see they're going to stop going up quite as fast. And maybe if you get a little bit lucky, someone will throw a sale in there as well. But what's not being talked about here is we spend a lot of money beyond just groceries. For instance, if you're a new house, you've got to furnish your house. The price of couches has gone way up. The price of TVs as well. That's all still tariffed. And so a lot of the rest of the cost of living pressures, they're not going away.
Yeah. In the meantime, as we wait for that to see how that lands with everyone, this new economic data is out next week. We've had this few weeks since the shutdown of really operating with kind of a data blackout from the U.S. government. So again, this is we're showing people right now the missing economic data from the 40 days that the government was closed. What are you expecting to see, and what are you looking for when they release this?
Yeah, so the government shut down right at this critical point, which is the president has been talking about tariffs all year, but he really only finally got around to launching them all a couple of months ago. And then we got a data blackout straight away. And so the question is, what happened? My guess is that the economy's continued to slow. We've got a range of other indicators that suggest that's the case. The question is, how fast did it slow? Have we slowed to the point that we're, it's moving along, but it's okay? Or are we a little bit worried about that R-word, recession? We'll have a much clearer sense of this in a week or two. But of course, nothing's ever clear because, tariffs are on and they're now off again. The government was closed, now it's open again. And they don't just make the world uncertain for business. They create a lot of distortions in the way we collect some of these data and how they come through in those data. So there's a few reasons to think this quarter might be weak, but who knows what it tells us about the future.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we near holiday shopping season. It's kind of wild that Black Friday is about 2 weeks away. What should people expect from the tariff perspective on that?
Well, the sorts of things that most folks buy on Black Friday. I don't know about you. I'm looking for a winter coat. I like to buy a few electronics, Christmas presents. I tend to think it's a good time to buy homewares as well. Well, they're the things where the tariffs are still on. And so you probably got a much better deal last Black Friday. What the White House is relying on is that you may not remember the prices from last year's Black Friday. So it may hurt your family's wallet while not hurting the president's approval quite as much. So the sorts of deals that we're talking about are almost all goods. They're all often from China, and that's where I think a lot of these tariffs are really going to hurt.
All right, Justin Wolfer, it's always good to see you. Thanks for that context. We appreciate it.